unit on this show, which I can't stress for you how important it actually is to have on a show like Girl Meets World, because without that cohesive unit and working together as a cast and producers and writers of the show and being creative and really out there doing things when we least expect them to do it, I don't think this show would have thrived. But I think this show can easily go 6, 7 seasons, which it's going to have to do. Because you look at Boy Meets World and everything that accomplished back in the 90s. This is a spin-off of Boy Meets World, and this show definitely showed me a lot. You know, Boy Meets World was one of my favorite shows from back in the 90s, and Girl Meets World is one of my favorite shows of this new generation we've come into, and what a difference 10 years has made, for us as fans of a show like Boy Meets World from back in the 90s. We all remember what Boy Meets World did for us as part of the TGI lineup for ABC television on Friday nights. Everybody watched that show. I know I was caught up within that show and what the series was actually supposed to have been about, and now seeing Girl Meets World picking up where this one left off, distributed originally by Disney Channel, and now this one having the same thing done with it. I think they've done a great job with this spin-off, because Girl Meets World could have sucked. I mean, that's the bottom line about a show like Girl Meets World. That series could have easily sucked and never gotten off the ground. But what was the contributing factor behind this series' success? The profound success that it saw was definitely Ben Savage and Daniel Fishel coming back for the series. They could have said, you know, the script of this show really isn't offering me what I want as an actor or an actress, and there's no way this series is going to thrive. And a lot of people felt that same way about Girl Meets World, saying, you know, Girl Meets World was just a joke. There was no way in the way of a script or being creative this show was going to be far out there and more than what Boy Meets World was back in the 90s. It hasn't gotten to that point yet, but over the last 3 years, no one is going to deny the profound success we have seen for Girl Meets World. I won't deny it, I know that much, because this series is really blowing up and continues to blow the minds of a lot of people. People are still tuning in on Friday nights, as they did about 15 years ago, to find out what's going to be happening next in this series, because this series sometimes continues off where a previous episode that preceded the one you're probably going to watch this week left us with. So it's leaving us with more questions than we ever have had answers for a Disney Channel show. So I really appreciate how creative this series actually is and how far it has come in such a short period of time, because this series didn't have to do what it did for us in a generation that this show doesn't really have to be defined through. And the thing is, Girl Meets World has really blown up again because of what Sabrina Carpenter and Roland Blanchard are doing on the set of it. And I think this series could easily, if not going 6 or 7 seasons before this series finale is witnessed by all of its fans, could easily have a Disney Channel original movie. There's no reason behind why this series couldn't have a Disney Channel original movie, or shouldn't have a Disney Channel original movie, for the success we have seen. We have seen the stars of the series actually be in Disney Channel original movies like Invisible Sister, and I think we could be seeing a Disney Channel original movie based off this series, as we had many of the series of the past generations like Wizards and Hannah Montana. Yep, definitely they still have a long way to go in terms of popularity before they get to the point of having a Disney Channel original movie, but I could see this happening for this series with how much has been talked about and how many fans it actually has out there. The support for Sabrina Carpenter comes nothing short of having been overwhelming, and who's going to blame me for feeling this way about Girl Meets World and everything Sabrina Carpenter has done? Her fans are up there in the millions. Her views on Vivo and YouTube are up there in the millions also, likewise. That was to be expected for Sabrina Carpenter, but I never imagined in a million years we would find a Disney star that would become this popular. I think she definitely is getting up there with popularity and could go down in history as being just as popular, if not more popular, than the Hannah Montana character. And I say that also with 100% confidence because of everything Sabrina Carpenter has done, how she's redefined herself in this new generation, and everything she has accomplished so in a short period of time. I mean, nobody has ever accomplished as much as what Sabrina Carpenter has. So if you're looking for a torch carrier of this new generation, you could easily put that label on someone like Sabrina Carpenter. And I know being a torch carrier goes with a lot of pressure, but I think Sabrina Carpenter is one of those people who can handle herself in pressurous situations. And obviously, yeah, she's felt the pressure of being a teen idol, but with us not having Hilary Duff or Selena Gomez or Demi Lovato all the time to rely on as those teen idols, which they are considered still in 2016, with us not having them all the time to rely on, I think that Sabrina Carpenter definitely goes a long way in being that teen idol we've kind of searched for, we've wanted to see, and wanted to get to that point of having had with entertainment. I think Sabrina Carpenter definitely goes a long way in redefining the term teen idol and what that's supposed to have been about for years. So I think we can easily get away with giving her at least a support, a 5-star rating on my 5-star scale perspective rating. Now, you may go higher or lower even with your rating on Sabrina Carpenter, but I think a lot of people are going to find time in concurring with me about Sabrina Carpenter, as a lot of people have found time in putting her over on YouTube. Which again, guys, I can't thank you enough for having done, because without your support, I don't think Sabrina Carpenter would have ever gotten to the point she has gotten to with her career as both a singer and an actress, one of those multi-talented actors that Disney has signed. And I think she's going to be here for a very long time. It doesn't look like she's going anywhere anytime soon. So with that being said, I invite you to get in on the conversation and let me know what you think about Sabrina Carpenter, because even though with how far she has come, she still has a long way to go, and that's really frightening when you really sit down and put it into perspective and think about, how far Sabrina Carpenter has come and how far Sabrina Carpenter still has to go as both a singer and an actress. I mean, can you imagine 5 years from now what we're going to be talking about in relation to Sabrina Carpenter? Yeah, there's those people out there that believe that Sabrina Carpenter will head down the same road as a Miley Cyrus or possibly a Demi Lovato, where she'll have to go to rehab, and I'm hoping and praying to God we don't see that for Sabrina Carpenter, because I think she's someone, as I just said, who can be here for a very long time, or should be here for a very long time, who should get exposure and deserve exposure, because she's very deserving of it at this point in her career. But 5 years from now, will she just be one of those disasters we are looking at and talking about in the way of being so outrageous and so far out there that there's no return for Sabrina Carpenter? I hope not. I hope that she definitely stays on this path, this direction she's headed in, because she seems to be one of the more promising stars of Disney. Now, I know they've had a tendency to crack under pressure when they really feel the pressure after getting away from Disney. Usually they resort to doing things you'd never imagine they would resort to having done. So hopefully Sabrina Carpenter will learn from having seen what we've seen through the media's eyes, what happened to Miley Cyrus and, say, Demi Lovato, for instance, even Selena Gomez with her battle of lupus, and how precious that was on her, forcing her to almost crack, along with everything that happened with Justin Bieber. So hopefully something will happen for Sabrina Carpenter that makes her realize that she doesn't need to go the way of, say, a Miley or a Demi, and just stay on this path and head in this direction continuously throughout the next couple of years, because throughout the next couple of years, it's really going to go a long way in telling us a lot about Sabrina Carpenter and telling us more, because even though with how much we know about Sabrina Carpenter, I still really believe that she is one of the more unpredictable characters that we have seen on Disney, one of the more unpredictable personalities and celebrities we have seen come through the doors of Disney, who we don't really see enough of over these years. But even with how much we know about Sabrina Carpenter, there still is so much for us to find out, because like I said, she's just merely scratching the surface of everything she has yet to accomplish, and that to me really goes a long way in telling us a lot about Sabrina Carpenter. Yeah, she does a lot of interviews for the media. She's always there to promote something Disney has going on, but I mean, that was to be expected. But even though she's there all the time to promote things Disney has going on, what's really going on in her mind? What's she really thinking about that she's not telling us about? Is she feeling the pressure of being one of the top probably 3 through 5 Disney Channel stars who are always in the media, always in the public eye, always having to be there to have a smile on your face and to promote something that your company has going on for it, because you're one of the spokespersons or people of this organization, which Sabrina Carpenter has been for pretty much the majority of the last 3 years. 2015 was an incredible year for Sabrina Carpenter, and I think 2016, even though we're not even to the halfway point of the year, by the time we get to the halfway point of the year, we'll know more about Sabrina Carpenter's future. But right now, I think we're just trying to speculate and draw a conclusion as to what we think her future has in store. But I'm going to go on record for saying, after seeing what she did throughout 2015 and what she could do by the end of 2016, by the time the dust is settled and the smoke is cleared, I'll go on record for saying that Sabrina Carpenter definitely will have an incredible year, and probably see a year that will surpass everything she did in 2015. I just played Fight Song for you at the start of the show by Rachel Platt, and I think there is no other song that could define everything Sabrina Carpenter has defined throughout her first 3 or 4 years working with Disney. This song really goes a long way in illustrating and putting into perspective for a lot of people, or at least should, how far Sabrina Carpenter has come. It's amazing, when you really think about, everything she has done and everything she has yet to do as a young, inspiring actress and singer. It's amazing, because we don't really see a whole lot of these people coming through the doors of companies like Disney and Nickelodeon and having all these qualities wrapped up into one. And I think Sabrina Carpenter definitely has gone a long way in showing us what she's actually capable of having done so early on within the first 3 to 4 years. And you just think about, how much Sabrina Carpenter will do just as an actress alone, forgetting about singing here for a minute. I mean, yeah, she's been on Girl Meets World, but I mean, more opportunities will be presented to her, probably her own show will come out as a spin-off of Girl Meets World because of just how popular she's been on this series as the character Maya. I mean, the relationship we have seen between Riley and Maya on this show definitely is a relationship unlike any other stars that we have seen on set for a Disney Channel show, and just with how unpredictable her character Maya has been seen to be on Girl Meets World, I mean, that doesn't mean that Sabrina Carpenter's character is just going to vanish after this series finishes, even if it is, and its series finale over these next few years. I think when this series sees that, I think we're going to see something done with Maya's character, probably as a spin-off for another Disney Channel show, which easily could be done like they did with Jeanette McCurdy and Ariana Grande. I mean, a lot could be done with that because we've seen spin-offs of series before like Victorious and iCarly, so we could see the same thing with Girl Meets World if Disney is smart enough to do it, and I would like to believe that they are smart enough to come up with something for Maya's character to do on a different show that we could see her on in the next few years, along with a lot of Disney Channel original movie opportunities and probably roles for her on the big screen. If there's someone who can go from Disney Channel to the big screen, it obviously is Sabrina Carpenter if we give her time. We said the same thing about Ashley Tisdale a couple of years ago. You know, I wanted to see more in the way of big screen roles for Ashley Tisdale, and eventually she got that with Aliens in the Attic and Scary Movie 5 with her characters in those movies, but it took time for Ashley Tisdale, and it could take time, even more time probably, for Sabrina Carpenter to get to that point, but who's to say she will not get to that point and you know, in time we'll find out more about where she's headed. But right now, after everything she has done, definitely she's very deserving of having done it. If there was anyone out there who deserved the spotlight in 2016, it obviously is Sabrina Carpenter. And if you don't know who Sabrina Carpenter is, where have you been in the last 3 or 4 years? And obviously you haven't subscribed to Disney Channel, you don't have the Disney Channel app, you don't go on the internet, and you don't read these articles about people like Sabrina Carpenter, because they are here and they are going to be here for a very long time. Because they're not going anywhere anytime soon, I think that means that details for us that we have to get in on the conversation about Sabrina Carpenter, because even with how many millions of people know about Sabrina Carpenter, the millions of fans who have subscribed to her conversation, there still is just as many fans out there who don't really know that much about someone like Sabrina Carpenter, and that really is heartbreaking to me, because even though there are people out there who love Sabrina Carpenter and Dove Cameron for say, there are just as many people out there that don't know that much about Dove Cameron or Sabrina Carpenter, so I'm kind of trying to raise awareness as to who they are, to make people aware of what's really happening here. It's a new generation, it's a new time, and you can only hope that more people will become a part of this generation as they show support, never-ending love and support for Sabrina Carpenter, which, by the way, guys, is one of the biggest reasons why Sabrina Carpenter is in the position that she is in, and that's why I give Sabrina Carpenter all the credit in the world for giving her fans recognition as they have given her recognition, kind of returning the recognition back and forth between fans and celebrity more than we probably have seen between any celebrity and their fans over the last number of years. Sabrina Carpenter knows that the fans are the reason she's in the position that she is in, and that never-ending love and support you guys have shown for Sabrina Carpenter, which I hope you will continue to show, has gotten her in the position that she is in and will allow her to remain in the spotlight, which she is very incredibly deserving of. She blows my mind every single time, and who can blame me for having felt the way that I do? If you have a thought, you can get in on